You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later God cut you down, sooner or later God cut you down. Go tell that long-tongued liar, go tell.
Hey up everybody, welcome to Tuesday morning, and Tuesdays are session days. Today I've got scheduled 10 by 3 minutes, sub-threshold, all off 60 seconds recovery. Except I'm not going to be doing it. This week in the UK we have the most hottest heat wave at the moment. The temperature already this morning is really hot, and it's very humid as well. I've just finished my warm-up and it felt like running through treacle. So I'm not going to be the hero. I'm not going to be the one that tries to get the session done and then fails halfway through. I'm going to be sensible. I'm going to swap it out. What I'm going to swap it to is I'm just going to do my warm-up session again. There's a few people ask what I do for my warm-up, and it's a nice little workout. It's basically a fartlek. We go through the gears and then we finish on a couple of strides. So I still get some training stimulus. It's not going to be too much in this heat. Let's go for a run. Okay, we've got a good GPS. The armband's connected. Let's go for a run. So my warm-up always starts with 10 minutes. Really easy. And it's probably better if I explain my morning routine to you. So first thing, when I come downstairs, I'll pour me a glass of beetroot juice and get me 4 squares of really dark chocolate out the fridge. And while I'm having them, I'll just do some dynamic movements. And when I mean dynamic, I mean moving, because I really believe static stretching is a bad thing to do before you've done any exercise, or before you've even loosened up even. So, I mean, we're just talking things like leg swings, lunges, squats, anything where I'm putting a very small amount of load and just keeping things moving. And it just helps me to basically wake up and feel some movement, feel these old creaky joints loosening up. And that's the idea of that. And then we'll head out, we'll go down the hill, and then at my usual place at the bottom of the hill where all the crows are, that's where I'll start the warm-up. And it'll just be 10 minutes, nice and easy, what we're doing now. And if you look on there, we've got an average heart rate of 100, that's not an average, that's a live heart rate, 105, 106 beats a minute. It's looking like these houses are finished now. These have got built quickly while I'm doing my training, running by these last few weeks. And there in front of us is the famous conker tree. And for those of you that don't live in the UK, a conker's horse chestnut. There's the bridge over the River Severn. And the block pavement. Nice one, council. and onto the garage straight. So when I'm doing my 3-minute intervals, I know that I've got about 20 seconds left here or so. I'm looking at the fuel prices. It's actually under £1.70 for a litre of diesel. Still nice and low heart rate, 113 beats a minute. There's the donkeys. Sometimes when I'm running by here, you'll hear the donkeys. A little bit of a rise now. There's nowhere flat where I live. Trying to keep in the shade as much as I can. That sun really is scorching today. So let's turn this way. $116 beats, nice and easy. I've also got 4 minutes 40 left on the timer. So my easy pace, ideally I'd like to keep that between 113 and about 133 as a maximum. And it all depends on how I'm feeling. All depends on how much sleep I've had, how warm it is. It's never the same twice because I run to effort. Morning. You alright, man?
Yeah, darling.
Even running easy, it's boiling hot. God. I definitely made the right choice, not trying to do those sub-threshold intervals. And this is where the road ends and the footpath begins. And this leads down to the rugby fields, which is known as Ayup Run. Still 114 beats. And again, we're going uphill because, like I said before, there's nowhere flat where I live. It is nice in the shade here though. Oh, look at that bright sunlight. I like to give nicknames to things, and I call this Slippy Corner because in bad weather, when we've got a lot of leaves and things on the floor, it can be quite slick when you're running down there at any kind of interval pace. 113 beats a minute. If you look on there, I've got no idea of pace, just heart rate, time remaining. "20 seconds left, and then we're going to increase the speed a little. We're going to go from an easy pace to what I call a steady, and everybody's version of steady is different, but my steady is somewhere between easy and marathon pace." So it's beeping now. There we go. We've got 2 minutes of this now. Now I want my heart rate to raise a little now. I want it to be above the 133 maximum that I use for my easy run. Climbing now, 127. There we are, 133. Again, no idea of what the pace is, because I don't care what the pace is. It is all done on effort. And doing this on effort, when I finish it, I look at the distance that I covered, and that's a good indication of how good I'm feeling, how rested I am, ready for the session. On a normal day, it'll be just above the 4 kilometre distance covered, but on a day when I'm feeling really strong, it'll be closer to 4.5 kilometres. 135 beats, perfect. Right, that's at 2 minutes. Now we've got 3 minutes. There's 3 minutes. I'm going to put some work into this. I'm going to use this as a primer, or as some people would say, a shock. If I can get it up to the 150s into my sub-threshold area, that would be ideal. And I've got 3 minutes of this. $144, so it's climbing. It will raise now going up this slope. I need to put a bit more work in. $145. There we go, 151. I'd like it to stay in the 150s. On in. Nearly done. 10 seconds left. $152 out rate. And there we go. That's that 3 minutes done. Now we get 2 minutes at an easy pace. Back up this little bit of a hill or slope, whatever you want to call it. Heart rate's coming down now, 140. It's taken a long time to drop today, but that's going to be because of how warm it is. And when this 2 minutes easier is finished, we're going to do 4 30-second strides of 30 seconds recovery. And these strides, the pace of them, I always want to be a touch quicker than whatever session or race I'm doing next. So if I'm doing this before a 5k race, I want these strides to be a little bit quicker than 5k pace. Again, we'll call it a primer or a shocker or whatever you want to call it. It's just to get the body ready for some work. And when you do start working at your pace that you're intending to do in your session or your race, it feels a little bit easier because your strides were done a little quicker. Here we go. One stride done, 30 seconds recovery. That did feel really good actually. But I have got some awesome shoes on. I'll show you those in a minute. Here we go, number 2. Two down, 2 to go. And 3 done. Only 1 more left. Hi mate. I think the pollen's high today. I can feel my breathing is more difficult than what it usually is. Last one. And that's it. 30 seconds now, and that'll be the end of the session. Or warm up, should I say. Here we go. Session or warm up finished, just like that. There you go, that's my warm up finished, and we'll also call it that's my session finished for today. I'll put the data on the screen for you, but as you can see, that little warm up routine, it sticks to the UK Athletics ramp principles, because the R stands for raise, and as you can see, the first start of it is just really nice and easy, raising the heart rate, getting ready for the higher intensity stuff, and that for me is my primer. That gets me ready to work much harder. The 3 minutes where I'm doing sub threshold, that's really key to a successful run for me, because if I don't have that harder intensity run, I find it so difficult to do the actual session or the race. The 4 strides at the end, they're also really key for me. Like I said, when I was actually doing them, I want them to be just a little bit faster than the pace that I want to do in the following session or the race. So those strides, they were done about the 3:30 a kilometre. That's the kind of thing I do before a 5k race, because my absolute goal pace for a 5k race is 3:40 a kilometre. So getting those strides done a little bit quicker, when I start the race, it actually feels as if I'm running easy, because I've just been running 3:30s, so doing a race at 3:40, what a doddle. And it works for me. It's not everybody's cup of tea, everybody's going to be different, and it's all about finding what works best for yourself, because when you get your own warm-up routine that works well for you, you'll notice a massive improvement on your training and on your races as well. It really does make a difference. But there we go, I've gone on long enough now. I'll show you the shoes and then I'll have to head off. So today I wore the X-Tep 160X version 3.5 Pros, because I was intending to do my session today. I haven't worn these for a while. These are absolute beasts of shoes. As you can see, when I was doing those strides then, they make running fast pretty effortless. If I was going to recommend any top end race shoe for 5 or 10k distance, it would be these. So that's it for now. I've got to get back home and get myself cleaned up and out to work. So until tomorrow, 60 minutes easy, I'll see thee.